I like to not read the back of a book. I like to not know what it's about. I like to kind of go halfway in and be like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting.
While others prefer to know exactly what they're getting into. But perhaps it's a luxury you can afford when you work in a used bookstore. Emily Hamel may be able to use her place of work as a personal library, but her perception of reading is stacked the same direction as many other book lovers.
The author sort of like paints this picture for you, but to decide exactly how the person's voice sounds or what the scene looks like or anything is completely tailored to what's going on inside your head. So that's what's really great about reading a book as opposed to watching TV, is it's like complete control and it's completely your fantasy working with the author. It's like a collaboration. It's really nice.
But if you're not content with Emily's first suggestion on how to get hooked on a book, she has a couple of other tricks you might want to try.
Recommendations are really big for me. I'll go staff picks or friends' recommendations. And if I'm in a bookstore kind of just looking for something new, I'll just pick up books that kind of appeal to me visually and then flip halfway through and just start reading a paragraph. And if it interests me and I'm not just like, meh, then I'll take it home. Would you want novels or do you want books about the Wild West?
Wild West book.
Okay, come on with me. Sometimes if it doesn't grab me past the first couple pages, I'll just be like, you know what, put it aside and I start another book. And then I find that if that story, like what first grabbed me, and that story is still on my mind, I'll come back to it again. So yeah, that'd be my advice. If you're halfway, into a chapter and you're not really getting it, just put it aside and come back to it later.
To use cliches, it transports you to a world and lets you experience things that you might not normally. I myself am never going to be an amateur sleuth solving crime in my spare time, but sometimes I feel like reading an Agatha Christie novel from time to time and living vicariously through the character.
Although Ross can power through 3 or 4 fiction books in a month, he too likes to challenge himself, just as any of us would, trying to get through 1 book in a month.
Well, right now I'm doing a special project where I take different types of books that I wouldn't normally read, different genres. If I stuck to what I like, it would mostly be mysteries or fantasy, but I figured since I work in a bookstore, why wouldn't I take advantage of reading all different types of genres? Though
Emily can appreciate a good chick lit story from time to time, she prefers to stick to her classic, science fiction.
My all-time favorite book is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. It's being made into a movie in 2013, so I'm kind of like really excited but also a little scared. I really hope they do it well, but it's a fascinating book. I've read it at least 5 times and I'm just finished listening to it on audio tape as well.
So, in whatever way you get going, go and enjoy getting lost in the pages of a book.
It's the escape, just getting away from it all. Sometimes hours will go by, it'll be like 2 in the morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, I should probably put this down. And then I pick it up again. It's good for getting your mind off of like all the stuff you do in your life because I do a lot. I'm always busy and sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming, but when I sit down and read a book, it just all that goes away and it's a real great escape.
Whether you want to fall in love, learn how to cook, or explore far-off lands, immersing yourself in a book is a great way to get away from it all. For Shaw TV, I'm Tiffany Gurdon.